Well, there is a lot happening right now at the North Carolina DMV. Thanks for joining us on WFMY News 2 at 5:30. I'm Sydney Moore. We are joined today by the Commissioner of the Division of Motor Vehicles, Mr. Wayne Goodwin, and thank you so much for joining us today, by the way. Well, we are discussing backlog in the summer hours and, of course, more. And we're also taking your questions. Just text them to 336-379-5775. All questions are anonymous, and this is your chance to get some free help. Well, this summer, some drivers have had a hard time getting their hands on a hard copy of their license. It normally takes 2 weeks to get a hard copy when you renew, but a backlog has pushed the turnaround time to 6 weeks, leaving many drivers with only their temporary paper ID. The DMV said it was a system glitch. So has the DMV caught back up since the backlog?
Yes, they have. I'm very pleased to report that we have caught up. We had provided an update to the legislature a couple of weeks ago that the backlog, which again was partially due to a system glitch, and then the time frame kept getting longer and longer and longer. But regardless, we've received reports from our private company that manufactures the credentials that they have depleted the backlog. We'll be independently verifying that, but that is very good news as we transition to a new vendor.
All right. And how is the DMV working to combat long wait times?
Well, we've implemented a number of modernization tools over the last 2.5 years, and it's also made operational changes. We have more offices than ever that open at 7 a.m. instead of at 8. We have Saturday hours, which we'll talk about here shortly, that are during our summer peak season months for customers. We also provided more options and more flexibility to get your driver licenses and ID renewals and other things related to DMV, either online through myncdmv.gov or by going to one of the kiosks that we will talk about as well. So more flexibility, more hours of opportunities to get service, and that helps shorten wait times and shorten lines. We also instituted several new software applications over the last year or so that give folks more tools on their smartphones to avoid lines.
All right, which is really good news. So in an effort to shorten lines and wait times across the state, the DMV is piloting self-service kiosks, which you just mentioned, in the grocery stores. So these kiosks allow people to renew their driver's license, state ID, order duplicate driver's license, permit, and state ID, change address, register to vote, much more. Just a lot of things you're able to do with the kiosk. So how is this impacting wait times? How is this helpful?
Well, it's very popular. Our first 3 cities have been Raleigh and Charlotte and Fayetteville, and we have in our schedule we have a number of other metropolitan communities and counties added that we have planned to have kiosks introduced and launched and deployed in Guilford County and Forsyth County and other places. So far, based upon the data from March through the present, they've been very popular. And we've been able to save several thousand people from having to go in person, and that's a great thing.
That's
of course, as a
number.
growing state, you know, it's important too that we provide as many opportunities and flexible options besides going in person to the DMV. So when we have our full deployment of these kiosks, it's going to be an even greater thing. But so far, so good.
So, we were told, 7 additional kiosks will be added in 2024 and that Guilford County was one of them. Any updates on that progress?
We anticipate having the additional kiosks deployed in Guilford and Forsyth and other places in July. We've initially started with Harris Teeter grocery stores, and it is our plan to go to additional locations. And the basis is we want these types of devices to be outside of the DMV. Why create another line at the DMV? And of course, when you're in grocery stores or other locations that we've already selected, there'll be operational hours that are well before and long after state office hours.
Sure. The DMV is getting new fees beginning July 1st, and the increase is expected to be 19.18% for about 90 license and registration related fees. So can you tell us what those new numbers will look like for drivers?
in terms of the costs for credentials and other related services. Is that what you're asking?
That's correct.
Yeah, that is what we call a quadrennial fee increase. And so no matter what happens, every 4 years by statute, the DMV is required to adjust based upon inflation the cost of these services and providing the goods and services themselves. So, and that includes the cost of the card. So it'll go up several dollars per year for cards, for instance. But we have that on our website. If you go to myncdmv.gov, you'll see a listing of the price adjustments. But those are automatically required for us to calculate by statute.
Can you tell us about real IDs and why they are beneficial?
Well, real ID is something that, historically is a result of the 9/11 attacks on America. We wanted to make sure as a nation that we have credentials that are secure and that they show who you are and verify who you are. For those who may not recall, there were instances that folks who attacked America back in 2001, they were using IDs that were not secure. But fast forward, it's taken a long time, but the real ID is a more secure document, and the date, May 7th, 2025, is when the federal government will start enforcing the real ID. It's completely optional. There's no extra cost. You might want to obtain one if you don't already have one. Might want to obtain one if you plan to fly commercially or if you visit federal or military or nuclear facilities. So far, 45% of North Carolina credential holders already have the real ID, and we've issued over 4.5 million since May of 2017. We project really about half of North Carolina needs the real ID, so we're getting close to that point already. But to learn more about what it takes to get the real ID, and there's a little star on the right-hand corner of your credential. To learn more, go to ncrealid.gov.
All right, sounds good. Well, we're going to pause right here, and remember, you can send all of your questions in. The number's right there at the bottom of your screen. We are talking DMV, backlog, hours, and much more. We'll be right back.